Long ago, in a small and quiet kingdom, surrounded by green hills and wide rivers, there lived a man named Elior. Elior was not a soldier. He was not a prince. He did not wear fine clothes or live in a big house. Elior was poor. He lived in a tiny wooden hut near the edge of the forest. His clothes were old, and his shoes had holes. Many people in the kingdom did not even know his name. But Elior had something more valuable than gold et ardoises. Elior spent his days reading old books, watching nature, and thinking deeply. He understood people. He understood the land. He understood problems before they became disasters. But there was one problem. No one listened to him. The kingdom was ruled by King Arden. He loved power and riches, but he did not care much for advice, especially from poor people. One year, the rains did not come. The rivers became thin. The crops began to dry. Farmers worried. Animals grew weak. People whispered, "A famine is coming." Elior walked to the city and asked to speak to the king. The guards laughed at him. "Look at your clothes," they said. "The king does not have time for beggars." But Elior did not give up. Day after day, he returned. Finally, one kind servant felt sorry for him and allowed him into the palace. Elior stood before the king and said, "Your Majesty, we must store water and food now. We must dig deeper wells and share supplies fairly. If we wait, it'll be too late." The king frowned. "You are a poor man who smells like the forest," he said. "Why should I listen to you instead of my rich advisors?" The advisors nodded and said, "The rains will come. Do nothing." So the king waved his hand and dismissed Elior, and no one prepared. Weeks passed, then months. The sun burned hotter than ever before. Crops failed, wells dried up. People grew hungry. Some left the kingdom. Others grew angry. Food became so rare that families fought over bread. Now the king was afraid. He called his advisors, but they had no answers. One old servant stepped forward and said, "Your Majesty, there was a poor wise man who warned us." The king remembered. "Find him," he ordered. The soldiers searched the kingdom and found Elior in his small hut, calmly planting seeds in dry soil. The king himself came to see him. "Wise man," the king said, this time with a softer voice, "our kingdom is suffering. Can you help us?" Elior looked at the king, not with anger, but with calm eyes. "I can help," he said, "but you must listen not just to me, but to the people too." The king agreed. Elior walked through the kingdom and studied everything. Then he gave instructions. Dig channels from the river's deepest parts. Gather all remaining grain and share it fairly. Use clay pots to store water underground, where it stays cool. Plant fast-growing crops near shaded areas. Stop wasting water in the palace gardens. Some people doubted him, but they were desperate. Sote obejed. The work was hard. Everyone helped: farmers, builders, even palace workers. The king worked too. Slowly, things began to change. Water was saved. Food lasted longer. New crops began to grow. The kingdom did not die. Months later, dark clouds finally gathered in the sky. Rain fell across the land. People cried with joy. Rivers filled again. Fields turned green. The kingdom had survived. Because of a poor man no one had respected, the king called for a great gathering. In front of the whole kingdom, he said, "I once ignored this man because of his poverty. That was my greatest mistake. Today, I honor him as the wisest man of the kingdom." But Elior shook his head. "I do not need gold or titles," he said. "If you truly learn something, then remember this. Wisdom does not wear fine clothes. Listen to every voice, even the quiet ones." The people cheered. From that day on, the king ruled differently. He listened more. He helped the poor, and he always remembered the man in the small wooden hut. And so, the poor wise man who was once ignored became the reason an entire kingdom lived. Because sometimes, the greatest heroes are the ones we almost fail to see.